I believe the federal government ought to incentivize choice. And, they could use your very criteria, create a scorecard. And, for example, if I were doing this, think about tying significant amounts of Title I money to meaningful choice policy. What you said before, I think is very powerful, and I'm not saying this to blow smoke at you. I really think it's very powerful, and I don't know if people have necessarily wrapped their head around it. There seems to be a big debate in the country now between sort of federal government top-down policy making versus return everything to the states. We've had, between No Child and Race to the Top, we've had pretty robust and bipartisan support. That's running against a notion now that, paradoxically, many of the unions and the Tea Party are pushing, let's move this back to the states. Shut down, for example, Rick Perry last week called for shutting down Department of Education. I think it's a huge mistake, and I wouldn't just block grant it. I would put the federal finger on the scale, and one way to do that is to put it on a scale of choice. Because in the end, and it's sometimes people want to make things very complicated, but in the end, my view is the best chance we have of fixing this problem is to empower the parents, not to empower the large, powerful bureaucrats, politicians, etc. And that's where the federal government could heavily put a finger on the scale, and I think it would drive policy rather than trying. Now, you'd have to have in any choice system meaningful accountability metrics. I mean, it's got to be both informed, and we can't allow people to choose absolutely failing, starting schools. But in that range, there's huge things the government can do. And if anybody were asking me, I would certainly tell them, incentivize your metric.